Thank you. So we're going to do a short little stinger here because this takes a little while to set up. This is showing that we have support for the speech chip on the phaser support. It takes a long time to load, so we're just doing this up front. That's the only sound you get out. That's the only sound you get out of respirators for whatever reason. So that's all we really have to show. Okay, so this is the boot menu that Appletini supports, like the equivalent of the CFFA. You can get to it either by hitting A during boot or by holding down the middle mouse button. And that lets you select some things. What I'm going to be doing here is using the included presentation. Oh, the computer is running beneath us. Hang on, I need to do something about that.
John, for the newbies, in 25 words, Appletini is?
Okay, the question is, Appletini is all the things. We are intending to support as much hardware as we can. We'll go through the full list because it's enough that I don't always remember everything, but the goal is supporting everything.
But it is a...
Oh, sorry.
Emulator? Yeah.
It is a physical emulator. It's a physical card that goes in the Apple IIe that when you hit the keys, it's using the actual hardware. You can boot it in a mode where, like you're saying, I'm going to just use like a CFFA and like it can interface with real hardware. It's like anything that you have as real slots, you can still use them because it really is the computer. But you can also assign virtual slots where it's just emulating whatever it is that you're turning on. We'll get to all that. All right, so this is a team effort that the hardware was done by Carl Sely, the software, most of the virtual cards and the videos done by Henri Sely. They are both remote, and I have been kind of like the mad science and firmware in the middle. This whole presentation, Henri authored for the demo he did in Paris last week. All right, so we have a modern hardware platform for the 8-bit king, as he puts it. We use an AMD Zinc 7020, which is a FPGA, fairly large one, but it has 2 integrated ARM 32-bit microcontroller cores on it, so you have incredibly high bandwidth and fast access between them. Oh, does it actually go up to 866? We only run it at 666. I haven't done the hardware twiddling to activate the full speed. But yeah, so you have the full power of an FPGA for doing all of your real-time and distributed stuff, and 2 CPUs, which are doing the bulk of the heavy lifting for video. It's full 24-bit HDMI out at full 1080p, either 50 or 60 hertz, depending on what you configure. We have analog audio out with a bunch of numbers that I don't personally understand. Digital out as well, because Carl is a huge audiophile and he insisted on putting digital out as well. We have USB hosts where you can plug in multiple things, like that's where this mouse is coming from. You can use a regular mouse with your Apple II. We have a 40 like USB 2 speed connection uplink to a modern PC, and that's like how you can do hot reloading of hard drive files and that sort of thing. It also can dump out bus state and you have all kinds of things that you can do technically. We have a gigabyte of DDR3 that the ARM cores can use. We have, that's actually incorrect, we have, I don't know what that is. Uh, oh, okay, this is incorrect. We actually have 16 megabytes of PS RAM, which is RAM that we can use as like RamWorks emulation. That's one of the things on our list. SD card reader for storing all of your hard drive images and selecting between them, like very, very similar to how a CFFA works, except that it's modern technology now, although a lot of cards do that now. We are intending to support Ethernet, but that is not currently working due to hardware issues. I was hoping to get somebody to help me with that, but like it's really, really fine soldering and I don't know how to do it. We temperature sensor because this is going to run fairly hot. We have real-time calendar, JTAG for the people who are going to be seriously playing with it. And it is independently powered, so we don't need to worry about blowing out your power supply because we're doing all of the power delivery ourselves. Okay, the overall goal is to uplift a 2E up to what a 2GS could do in that period of time. So acceleration, 16 megabytes of memory, all the cards and all the sound support. We might even get as far as getting in Sonic support, which would make Jay happy. But just like all the things that you could do. And like the more that I do with this card, the more it starts to look like a GS, and that makes me feel a little dirty. Okay, so the video, when we are running legacy modes, like right just at 1 megahertz, it is cycle accurate for both NTSC and PAL, so you can do cycle accurate videos. It does all the legacy video modes, including SHR, in color or mono. You have various color modes, like somebody was asked, like there was a special mode in that new book 2 that we could be potentially emulating if we just like, describe it. Henri could probably knock it out in like a day. You can edit your scan lines. We support the 2GS CO29, so you can like set borders and things like that. The video 7 monochrome switching, like the stuff that A2 Desktop does in Shufflepuck. The Apple Video is centered on the screen and has room around the outside to do external stuff, which I don't have set up, but like that's how you're getting the Appletini bar on the top, nice high 1080 visual. You can set your own custom bezels, like have background stuff if you want, like just your typical desktop stuff that we're used to in the distant future that we live in. You can set up debugging info like on the screen, like you can show what soft switches you are. You could have like things that are like snooping memory at locations if you wanted to do that kind of thing. Like Henri could do a Knox companion overlay for this if he felt like it, and he probably will at some point. Audio, we virtualize a complete phaser card for YM chips and speech chips, which I demoed briefly before. 2 full Mockingboards in 1 slot. That is supported on Ultima 5. I've demonstrated that earlier. You can switch between the 2 chip models for the volume envelope. You have tuning knobs for everything. That's all in like that startup menu. You can twiddle that, but I know nothing about it, so I don't touch it. Left-right panning on all the channels, and it passes MB audit 100% in phaser and Mockingboard compatible mode, so it supports everything. Okay, you can do live firmware updates, and I'll actually be doing one when I demonstrate acceleration later. And as long as you like the typical thing of like, don't turn it off in the middle of an upgrade, it's fine. But very, very easy. It just takes a couple of extra seconds to boot. We have configurable virtual card interface. This is like, if we pull up A2 Desktop, this is what a fully enabled card would look like. It'll show RamWorks, Ethernet, mouse card, phaser, disk, and our own smart port card emulation. The boot menu is accessible at any time, not just at boot. That's what I did when I held down the middle mouse button here, because this is out of band. Like you don't have to worry about like pulling the keyboard if some program's running. You can always get access to it here. You also could be connecting like a USB numpad and having like number pad controls that you can configure in the mouse menu. The boot menu. So like when we get everything integrated, that would be a way you could easily be like changing your acceleration of like, oh, I'm playing a game, I got to go down to 1x because I'm not that good. So switching media time, yes, we can. You can update menu your disks in real time, just over USB. We do support all the disk types, including WAS support, and yeah. So it just automatically you just plug it in and it shows up as a disk, and you can upload and download files. Okay, the Appletini rule: anything bus sensitive, timing sensitive, must be in the FPGA. And everything else that we can do, like the video, anything that doesn't need like immediate cycle response, like smart port, can be handled by the PS, which saves us a lot of FPGA fabric. That we can, anything that we can offload, we do, which lets us leverage. Like I think we're only, even with all our features turned on, only at about 50% utilization on the FPGA so far. Okay, acceleration is the mad science feature I've been working on for the last month or so. Minimum planned acceleration, 20 megahertz, that's a little outdated. We get up to about 88 times, which is pretty crazy, but not crazy enough. I'm trying for 100. We have a complete soft core, which is cycle accurate. I've done dumps and like even on the the dummy cycles, it's putting the right address out for every cycle. That's been pretty thoroughly tested. And while you're doing this, unlike other accelerators, you can still do a DMA because we're doing the DMA internally. And that also goes faster than regular DMA. Okay, there's a lot of stuff here. We'll just throw the slides up. Oh, we have a question?
Can you also decelerate?
Yes, that has not been implemented yet, but like it's trivial to do that. I just have a governor that just adds tokens every time an Apple bus cycle. We could add just one token every 2 cycles or that sort of thing.
Very, very useful for people who are breaking down arcade games or trying to understand.
Oh yeah. We could even be doing single step. Like that would be a thing that you could potentially do.
Cool.
Yeah, it's like that's stuff that's entirely under our control. Although that would be single step only in the virtual CPU. Doing it single step in hardware would also be possible, but that's trickier. It's certainly the kind of thing that people who are really into it might really want it, because like you're trying to emulate specifically 65C02 or 6502 or some random ass chip that might have a problem and you're trying to diagnose what the hardware problem is. Those kinds of things would be possible, but that's the kind of thing that you'd need to be pretty expert to set up. But the code,
an idea. There are some use cases.
Definitely. All right, I don't know what else to do here. This is just too much detail to really walk through everything here, and I also didn't read the slide in advance, so I don't know what it is. Oh, and that was the last one. All right, so how are we doing on time? We are doing quite well on time. All right, so want to start seeing some stuff here? All right. Okay, so I got onto the menu. I'm doing it with the keyboard this time, so this is just like the CFFA menu, except in color. Did not mean to do that. All right, let's play some music. All right, we are loading the Ultima 5 WAS file here. Oh, simulated disk sounds. This brings back memories, doesn't it? Oh, I should have let the thing fill in on the top. What's the one that uses all the channels, do you know? There's one that uses a bunch of extra channels. I think it's one of the later ones. So full Mockingbird and phaser support. I could do that for a long time and it gets boring. All right. How about Apple II Desktop? Oh, I didn't turn off the disk.
Sounds like a Mario Kart. Is that deliberate? Yeah.
Oh, I have no idea what sound he took for that.
That's exactly it.
Ah. So this is demonstrating it's forcing monochrome instead of color. And hey, look at that, mouse works. So if we look at the Apple menu about this Apple II, it shows the things I have the network card disabled, but mouse card, 80 column, Mockingbird, and Appletini in disk 2. This is one of the things that would definitely benefit from some acceleration, but we don't have the integration working with that yet. I don't even know what all there is to do with Apple II Desktop, but I know Henri likes it. Total replay works. Total replay, I said. Oh.
Take it out of the other one first.
Huh?
You have to take it out of the other slot.
I don't think you do, but it's also it's showing you grayed out. I don't know what's going on there.
It's already loaded.
I see. Thank you. Yeah, I did not see that. I don't know what's going on with that. So yes, this shows authenticity. It definitely is working for real because it's broken. Oh. Come on. Another thing that's broken is that the SHR is not quite working correctly. Takes a little while to load. And it doesn't load fully, and I'm not sure why. Like you can see, this is absolutely SHR coloring, but it's not doing the full screen load properly, and I have not debugged that yet. So it's broken. All right, Ethernet we can't really show. We showed mouse, we showed clock. I guess we can show accelerator. That thing at the bottom doesn't work. So what we're gonna have to do for this is we're actually gonna have to do a firmware flash because my firmware is incompatible with his. But let me get that set up. It'll take just a minute. Actually, my computer seems to have turned itself off. I didn't leave it plugged in, and I guess it powered down. So that's going to take too long. It's going to be too boring to try to wait through. So if you want to see acceleration demo, you can do it. Like during downtime here, but I don't think that I can do it in a reasonable time frame here. I don't think I have anything else to show, so I guess it's time for questions. Does anyone have anything they would like to ask? Yes, in the back.
You mentioned there's no audio on the HDMI port. Is there an idea of adding that eventually?
That's a good question. So the question is getting HDMI audio out, and that is unfortunately something that you can't do without doing full HDMI licensing. We are doing HDMI via a little bit of a back door where HDMI is DVI compatible, and we are just doing DVI out, which we feed to the HDMI, and it says, oh, I know what that is, and it spits it out in full 1080p glory. But doing things like using the sound channel requires actual HDMI behavior and actual HDMI licensing, so that's just not going to be in the roadmap.
Speaking of licensing, I was curious about the Star Wars thing.
I'm afraid I can't answer that question. I'm going to.
I'll show myself out.
Yes, and back.
Shut up and take my money. When is this available?
That's another good question. He's asking, shut up and take my money, which is a statement, not a question. But hopefully in the next year, price-wise, I can't really give a number because everything's crazy. We know how everything is crazy right now. But vague ballpark things, this is unfortunately not going to be terribly cheap, like $500-600 is the kind of ballpark we're looking for. And the only way we can justify it is by doing all the things. So hopefully we'll sell a few. There has been interest, but soon. There are some hardware problems with this version of the card. We need to do at least one more spin and get it right before we can do a production run. Like one thing is like it's a standard power jack, except he got it backwards. So I need to use I don't know what center positive, center negative. I need to use an adapter to power it. You can't ship like that. And also the Ethernet support is not working. We haven't built that out yet. And just whatever else we find before we're ready to do another spin. Get one right, get some out in beta into people's hands so that they can find exciting new ways to break it, and then release the hounds. At some point, we're going to need to put together a wait list for people who are interested and like figure out what our initial production run's going to be. That's TBD. I have no idea how to do any of that. Fortunately, I'm working with some guys who do. So, yes, another question back there.
Couple questions. One is there now or might be the ability of catching a screenshot, screen grab, or even a video to the SD card?
That's an interesting question. I
You're
don't.
going to repeat.
Oh, sorry. Question. Repeat the question. You're asking for screen capture, screen grabs. That's an interesting question. I can think of a lot of ways you could do that. One would be with an HDMI splitter, because it is just HDMI coming out. That's like the brute force way. Doing things where it's like actually like doing the streams would be different, and we'd have to think about that. But like it's absolutely possible, and it's just a matter of putting in the development effort. Oh, that does remind me, it is currently not open sourced for the software. I will be working on that when we get a cleaner production, like integrated version. I want to get that up on GitHub. It is on GitHub now. It's just a private repo. But the firmware and software are completely open. The hardware is, it could technically be open, but Carl is a really high-end guy, and he did it with Altium, and I don't know how many people have Altium at home. Yeah, that's a hell of a package, and like being able to like do your own like editing of like hardware versions is probably out of the realm of hobbyist level stuff. You need to be pretty technically up for that. All right, other questions? Yes.
There was a carte blanche card from about 10 years ago.
I've heard of it. Carte blanche card is the question. Go ahead.
Also, is there the ability to take those from that? I think it was also an alt-based platform.
That's old enough that I don't know how much of use there is for that. Like we have been definitely like referencing The A2 FPGA, I know Henri's used that as reference for like figuring out some of the things that he's done for our own support. Another huge support is Applewin, where looking at how Applewin is doing its emulation is excellent reference for figuring out how to do it for ourselves. Like I used it extensively in getting the memory mapping working. But like on the hardware side, like if we were really going to make this, like make the hardware open, I would probably have to do something like try to re-implement the hardware in KiCad or something more conventionally available. And I'm not that good. So I would have to learn how to do that. We've discussed that kind of thing, but Carl's not going to stoop to that level. So it would bore him. So if it happens, it would have to be somebody like else to do the porting to a more open platform. But yeah, it's like in terms of like FPGA stuff, like it is surprisingly easy to develop for this. Like I only started touching FPGA stuff maybe a year and a half ago, and we've gotten this far. So I welcome the competition. Any other questions?
This is amazing, first of all. I'm kind of new to this Appleverse, it's part of the Appleverse anyway. It's pretty fascinating. When I searched for it, after sorting through a lot of cocktail recipes, I did find you at the GitHub. Is there a URL to check for when it's going to be released?
I'd be pushing it out once it's there. I mean, you found mine, but that's like years out of date. It has none of the cool, sexy stuff. But yeah, so the question is, where is it going to be available when it is? It will be in Appletini. Sorry, it will be on GitHub. And when it's available, I will be making the link known. You had a question as well?
Since you're entertaining feature requests, it seems like you're about 95% of the way to being able to tuck an Apple One in.
Okay, so the question is emulating Apple One or other hardware machines. That is a really good question. So the main difficulty there is that which CPU you're emulating is a chunk of space on the FPGA, and it's an important chunk of space, and like occupies like prime real estate. And there's really only room, you only want to have one of those at a time. So different, like that's not something you could just like click a button and then reboot and then have a different machine. You would have to download different firmwares, and I would have to develop different like hardware profiles, and like that's the kind of thing you would need to do a complete reflash to do. Completely possible. Like I'm using my own custom 65C02 that I built from scratch with Claude's assistance. But doing a regular 6502 and like whatever like alternate ways like this, I also do the memory mapping that the 2E does. Whatever it is that the 2 can do, one could do. Or Lisa has also come up as a question of like doing a Lisa emulation, figuring out what it is that they're doing is most of the work, and then implementing it is relatively straightforward. But yeah, it's like you can only kind of do one at a time. You can't like hot swap those. All right, any other questions? Yes.
You're using a USB mouse there, correct?
Yes. Yeah, the question is, it's a USB mouse, and it is.
Okay. Any support for something like a USB joystick?
We have not sorted out USB joystick yet. I don't know enough about it. We would want an analog joystick for one thing, and we would have to do significant work for faking it, because you have to like figure out how to like render what value the joystick is saying to the amount of timeout that the paddle requires. Like that's completely doable, and like in the potential features, because that's way easier to get hold of as a modern analog joystick.
But it will work perfectly with a normal Apple II.
Yes.
Joystick.
Yes, I got one of these just a couple months ago, and that just works normally. Obviously, it only really works at 1x because like everything goes crazy when you accelerate, which I hope to show someday. Okay, question?
Sort of to that point, like, is there like configuration sets? So like when I'm in game mode, I want to make sure that I'm not accelerating, but when I fire up Apple desktop, I want to have like
Whatever sets of.
and accelerate.
Okay, so the question is like having like profiles, like easier, because like you can absolutely set things manually with the menu here, but that's tedious. Like you might want to have.
Having a hard time during the demo, so like I was thinking like if he had a set,
Oh, totally. It's like this is just a prototype. Those kinds of features, like that's super easy to do, particularly because that is all in the software world. That it's just like ultimately it's setting fields on a file that lives on the SD card. So yeah, like that's the kind of polish that we would want to have before we actually like are trying to sell this sort of thing. And that's actually something I wanted to mention is like a big part of what makes me terrified of actually releasing this to the world is that if I'm selling something that costs $600, people are going to expect it to do everything perfectly backwards in high heels. So there's probably going to have to be a lot of testing to get it to the level that like customer service is like customers are going to expect for paying that kind of money. Like we all know, like everyone's willing to put up with a certain amount of jank for a card that costs $30. But we're going to be a little bit more expensive than that. All right. Any other questions? Okay, I think we're done.